Welcome everybody to What's Up Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez. Uh I think that's Dan and Daygo, but he is not at Moe's today.
Not
It
today.
must mean that he feels good about this
Mm,
Sunday's
I
game
think it's
against
more
the
out of
Baltimore
necessity.
Ravens. This
More out
weekend,
of necessity.
The Baltimore Ravens travel to LA to face the Chargers on Sunday, November 26th at 5:20 p.m. We have your full breakdown. Again, we appreciate you guys so much for jumping on. We know it's a busy week. Dan and I have been out and about getting stuff
Don't
and preparing
remind
stuff for
me.
Thanksgiving. And it's madness out there. So, bruv.
Madness,
So
you say?
yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of it's crazy out there. But Dan, how are you doing?
I'm excellent. It's another week. I'm excited to eat tomorrow, see some football. We got football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. What's not to love, Frown?
Yeah, no, exactly. So obviously, a lot to get into, I guess, when it comes to this game because there's a lot at stake for both teams, but I think there's more at stake for Baltimore. I think the pressure is more on Baltimore because we all know Dan has been screaming to the heavens
To the football gods, Frown. And like always, I'm banished with no reply.
well, no,
Forsaken.
no, go ahead.
No, all I was gonna say with that, I was ending it with that. Forsaken by the football gods for whatever reason.
No, well, what I was gonna say is that you've been screaming to the heavens since Monday after the what's it called? After the Chiefs were upset by the well, not upset, but it was
Beat
the
by the
Eagles.
yeah.
Yeah, they got beat by the Eagles. By the way, I don't know if you guys watched the full episode of COMPAS on the Beat, but something happened in our neighborhood. For some reason, the lights were on. This was Dan after the Chiefs and after
Oh
the
my
Eagles beat the
god.
Chiefs.
Oh my god. What do you have cooking? Oh my god.
Are alive with songs they have sung for 1,000 years.
You're an idiot. I turned into a musical. I was Aaron Andrews. Oh no.
Aaron
No.
Andrews.
Oh no, she's
Julie
Julie.
Andrews.
Yeah,
Have
she's Julie
some
Andrews. Yeah.
respect.
I know. My bad. I
I should go
turned
get
into
mom. Mom would be
Julie
angry at you right now. She'd make you go watch that movie.
I got the last name right. That's all I knew. I would have gotten the movie right. And now I
Aaron
turned into
Andrews.
Julie Andrews. I was singing in the streets. I was so overjoyed seeing the Chiefs lose, especially in Kansas City.
But obviously that just means that Baltimore and Kansas City are right there for that
First place.
number one seed in the AFC. We all know Patrick Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road, so it would be interesting to see what would happen when it comes to this game. I mean, there's a lot on the line for them. For the Chargers, a lot on the line too, because yes, there are playoff hopes, but then the last two games have just not been pretty for them. They've been winnable games. They've been in both of them, and at the end, just couldn't get it done. So, this game is very interesting. Like I said, for a lot of reasons, but Baltimore's going to want to have this. The only thing is, no Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews might be out. Is reportedly going to be out for a while. So that kind of takes away a weapon from them. Odell Beckham Jr. didn't practice Wednesday with a shoulder injury. Expect him to practice and most likely be out there and play. Rashad Bateman limited with an injury as well. So they have some injuries on Baltimore, but they're definitely a tough team when you look at their numbers on offense. They are top 10 in the NFL. They average 366 yards a game. Passing,
Damn.
they're kind of one of the lower. See, this is where something's got to give because they only average, they're bottom of the, they're at 211 averaging when it comes to yards through the air, and the Chargers are the worst team in the NFL when it comes to yards in the air because the Chargers right now are, Dan, they are 20 yards. They average 20 passing yards. They allow 20 passing yards more per game than the next team below them. They're at 291. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 270.
Damn.
So definitely something's got to give in that area. But Baltimore also has some runners. I mean, they're one of the best teams. They're the best team at running the football. Damn, they're up by almost 12 yards per game. The Miami Dolphins are second in the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens are first, 155.1 per game. Now, when it comes to points, they're top five. They're number 4 in the NFL, 27.6. So their offense is nothing to sneeze at. Lamar Jackson is completing almost 70%, 69.5. Well, yeah, let's round it up. 70% of his passes. He's thrown for 2,441 yards. He's thrown for 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And Gus Edwards has been the guy that's really, Dan, gotten going. I'll let you get in here for a bit, but
No worries, I'm good.
564 carries, 10 touchdowns, Dan. He's turned it on as of late. I think he scored all those 10 touchdowns in the last few weeks. So Gus Edwards is a guy who and that's the thing that they've been really good at, Dan. The running back by committee. J.K. Dobbins goes down. All of a sudden they ask this kid to come in, and Gus Edwards has been really putting on a show for them. He's been with them for 5 years, but this is 5th year with them. But so lately, let's see. Yeah, no. As of late, since October 22nd, 1 touchdown. The 29th, 3 touchdowns. The 5th of November, 2 touchdowns. 2 weeks ago, 1 touchdown. And then last week he had 2 touchdowns. So expect Gus Edwards to be a big part of their offense. Lamar Jackson is only behind him 30 yards behind him for most rushing yards on the team, 539 with 5 touchdowns. And then and before we get to the receivers, Dan, just kind of what are your thoughts so far about kind of the way this game might go?
I think
game for both teams.
Oh, what'd you say?
And the importance of this game for both teams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for the Chargers, every game's I've been saying this for a while now, but every game's a playoff game because as you keep piling up L's or W's, that's going to determine whether you make it to the next round or not. And just so far, again, they haven't been able to pull out some of these close ones for whatever reason, depending on who you talk to. And, if you sit at, what are they right now, 4-6? If you sit at 4-7 after Sunday, I think that's a very tough hill to climb because you're asking the team essentially to win, 5 games in a row to hope. Oh, wait, no, 6 games in a row to hopefully finish 10-7. And they have some tough opponents coming up. So I think it's just from here on out, it's a very, uphill battle. The hill is getting steeper with each mounting loss. So
do the hills have eyes?
With the sound of music? Definitely have eyes. They definitely have eyes, but it's not Aaron Andrews type of. Oh no, Julie Andrews. I did it again. It's not Julie Andrews where you're having fun out there singing and hanging out. It's the football gods throwing every wrench they can into the Chargers' plans. But on top of that, the way I think the game is going to go, I think we're going to see something probably very similar to what we saw against Detroit. The dual threat. I think this game, if I'm the Ravens, I'm going to maximize it the same way where I'm going to be physical at the point of the attack. Because remember, also, you have the advantage now that it's not just running backs. Lamar Jackson can run the football very effectively, and he might get behind and smoke some of these guys just in plain foot races and stuff. And we've seen it where, these defensive linemen will get maybe not pushed back as far.
Example.
Yeah, not pushed back as far. And these linebackers just don't feel correctly. They don't take proper angles. And then you have guys who don't tackle properly. So it could be a long game on the ground. I wouldn't, based on what I saw from Detroit and some of these other games, I wouldn't even throw the football if I'm them and I can help it. But then on the flip side, in the air, you've seen them struggle also defensively. So they're going to be able to test them from all over the place. They have Zay Flowers. They have Odell, like you talked about, if he plays on Sunday. they have some weapons out there, especially the way they could scheme it up. Because I can tell you what's going to happen is most likely, at least what my thinking would be, I would suck them into the run game. That way, when the play action starts coming, these speedy guys are going to be able to get behind these linebackers and everybody else a lot faster. So I would expect that. And you already know defensively, they're going to be physical. I would expect them to press, try and throw off the timing, really force Herbert into some tough throws. Because this is what I've talked about before, either on this pod or on COMPAS, right? The Ravens, no matter if they're, 8-1 or 1-8, they're going to be a tough physical team because that is in their identity. They have the same coach they've had for probably about 20 years, maybe or so. Maybe he's around there. I'm not too sure. But same coach has been there for a long time, and that has been a staple of, Baltimore Raven football, the physicality of it. So Sunday, that's what I'm expecting the Ravens offense to do: run the football, keep the ball out of Herbert's hands, be physical, be disciplined, don't turn the ball over, because John Harbaugh, he's John, right? Yeah, John Harbaugh, really likes to run a tight ship where everyone's disciplined, not doing anything crazy. And, I expect him to challenge him at some points with these DBs, because obviously the tape that Michael Davis and some of these guys have been putting out, not the best. So on the flip side, I kid you not, what I would do more than anything is press, go man to man a lot, and then were we waiting?
No, you're talking about the Chargers, what the Chargers defense has to do, right?
No, I was talking about the Chargers offense. Well, the Chargers defense has to do.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, no, talk about the Chargers defense, because I have a video for that.
Okay. Well, the Chargers defense has to do, in my opinion, right, is
go with 7 DBs again.
I would let his arm beat you more than anything, because again, you've heard me talk about before on this show, either here or on the other one. There's a difference between run first quarterbacks and quarterbacks who are mobile. And I think Lamar fits a little more. I think he wants to run. That's where he feels the most dangerous, in my opinion, where really they have guys on their heels. So I think if you make him sit in the pocket, make him beat you from there, that would be the best bet. What you can't do, obviously, is not have a QB spy if you're only rushing 3 or stuff like that. I would have a QB spy pretty often, and it would probably have to be Derwin James, because, he's the most trusted back there, sure tackler, and he has some speed on him, and he's an absolute dog. So, again, I think that the first and foremost, they need to stop the run. I think that's going to be the biggest key for success for this defense.
All right, let's go now to Brandon Staley, and he spoke. We all know that the weapon on that team is Zay Flowers behind Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But obviously the Chargers did their homework on Zay Flowers during the draft. So we're going to hear about the offense from Brandon Staley, and then we're going to hear about Zay Flowers. So here is what Brandon Staley had to say.
From the Ravens offensively, obviously, Lamar playing at a high level.
Yeah, just a complete team. My respect goes out to Mark Andrews, because he's a hell of a player. Hopefully he gets well soon. But I think they've got a full stable of running backs, full stable of receivers. Even with Mark out, they have, 3 really capable tight ends, and, an offensive line. They've had some attrition, but they've been able to withstand it. And, when you have Lamar at quarterback, it's tough of a coverage you're going to have in the league. So they're doing a good job offensively.
How much work did you guys do on Zay Flowers, and what makes him a special player receiver?
Yeah, did a lot of work on Zay. We had, all the, that whole group of receivers in that first round. We did a lot of work on all those guys. So he's having a good season for them. I think he's got, what he did at Boston College. He's able to move within the formation. He can play in the slot. He can play out wide. He's carried the football for them. He's got a diverse route tree. He played, in a pro style system for Frank Signetti, at Boston College. So he was able to run a pro tree, and he's having a good season for him, and that receiving core, with Odell and Aguilar and Bateman and that group of guys, it's a deep receiving core, as deep of receiving core as they've had.
So that was Brandon Staley on the receiving core and basically what Baltimore's offense is all about. And that's true, Dan. Right now, Zay Flowers, 53 catches, 588 yards, 1 touchdown. Odell Beckham Jr. Odell's turned it on the last 2 games, I believe. His last 2 outings, let me go to them right now. His last 2 outings, well, actually, Yeah. So against Cincinnati, 4 catches, 116 yards. And then he had 2 catches for 40 and a touchdown against Cleveland, and then he had 5 catches for 56 again and a touchdown against Seattle. So and then one guy that's not really talked about all that much with all those receivers is Nelson Aguilar. I mean, he has 19 catches, 261, 3 touchdowns. Bateman has kind of been the guy that's up and down, 20 catches, 215, 1 touchdown, but they have a lot of electricity on that offense, and that's going to be a tough task for a Chargers team that has struggled all season. I mean, they gave up a lot of yards to Jordan Palmer or Jordan Love, and then a couple of weeks before, a week before that to Jared Goff. So it's kind of been I don't want to say a roller coaster for this defense, because the only 2 strong games that I remember them having is the game against the Jets and against the Bears. But this is going to be a tall task for this defense,
especially because, like we talked about, every game is a playoff game now for the Chargers if they want to keep playoff hopes alive. On the flip side, they're coming out fired up. They're feeling good. They're 8-1, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they're 7-3.
Oh, they're 7-3?
Yeah.
And they're in the number 2 spot? That's right.
Actually,
I was thinking of
my bad. Hold on. Let me
I thought they were 8-1. My bad.
No, they're 8-3.
8-3?
Yeah.
Either way, they're 8-3. They're fighting for a number 1 seed, and they're going to come fired out and motivated, especially because Kansas City just lost, and I think they're 7-3 now. So I guess they haven't had their bye week yet. So they're fired up.
They have it after they play the Chargers.
There you go. So they're fired up. They're trying to secure this, so when they go into the bye week, hopefully they're the number 1 seed. And obviously, Chargers, for the most part, haven't put out the best tape defensively. So even more the reason why they're going to be fired up, trying to, seal this one. I expect them to try and take the Chargers out of it in the first half. I think they're going to come in and just be as physical and as dominating as possible. They're going to want to get out to a fast lead because they know who's on the other side. They're going to want to control the clock. And I think, it's just going to be tough. What I would hope these guys would do is I know there's been a lot of criticism about the defense and stuff like that. Obviously warranted because, the career days they've been giving up to opposing teams, stuff like that. So, I mean, I think this is a perfect game to start maybe switching some things up and instead of getting set in your base defense where either they're super far off or you have Khalil in the slot or doing stuff like that, which, I haven't understood all season, but I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's doubting that they can even pull this off. We're going to see on Sunday night, they're all going to go for they're all going to pick the Ravens on the road. So this is a perfect time to, we were talking about this the other day about how, at the 15-second mark on the play clock, you can't communicate anymore with the quarterback. So why not pull a little razzle dazzle from Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl and stuff like that? And at the 15-second mark, have your defense completely flip and switch. Give them a different look pre-snap. Try and force him into some mistakes where he thinks it's one thing, you switch, and it throws off his read completely. I mean, why not? Why not at this point? What do you really have to lose? And the other thing I would say is, it's going to be a tall task, but they really need the key to the game, especially passing wise, they need to really be disciplined in their rushing lanes. Because if they try and go inside and collapse the edge, he's going to get outside and he's going to make these guys look pretty bad if he starts running and getting free.
Dan, when we look over at the defensive side of the football, they have some dogs on that.
Talking about the Ravens D?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a pretty good pass rush, Dan. It all starts with Justin Madubuike. He has 9.5 sacks this year, Dan. Let me tell you what this guy's been. He's a defensive tackle. He needs half a sack more to become the first Ravens double-digit sack leader since Terrell Suggs in 17. So that's pretty serious. He has 36 quarterback pressures. Dan, listen to this. This year, he has 9.5 sacks, 36 quarterback pressures. In his first 3 seasons combined, 8.5 sacks, 54 quarterback pressures.
And he's a D tackle, right? For a D tackle to almost have 10 sacks, that's not easy.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's going to be interesting to see which guard this guy lines up against, because I think both guards have had a hard time dealing with pressure from the inside and stuff like that, getting on skates because they're not pounding the feet and maintaining proper leverage. So
This is what John Harbaugh had to say about him.
Yeah, Justin, great question. Nothing really has surprised me because I knew he was going to have a great season. You know, you could see it in the spring, summer. You kind of saw it the last couple of years. I mean, the talent has really been there. And again, it's a developmental thing. I mean, guys grow as players. Third round pick, a lot of talent, and has always played well for us. But man, I mean, another level just in terms of the combination of his explosive talent, the time in the weight room, and all the things he's worked on to just become bigger, faster, stronger, quicker, all those things, but also the technique, more consistent, much more consistent technique-wise play to play than he had been before, and it's showing up in his stats.
Yeah,
You know what's and that's John Hart. Man, I remember the rest of the NFL. I'm not talking about the Baltimore Ravens fans or anybody.
Yeah,
I'm saying outside of them, everybody was like, "Oh, John Harbaugh." I mean, John Harbaugh. If you don't have a good season, you it might be time. And it's like, good thing nobody listens to them because John Harbaugh is still he's showing he still has it. But Dan, just real quick, let me show you one quick play of his. And you can dissect it for us. This is against the Houston Texans. He is number 92, so he is lined up right here over the left guard. Can you see it?
Yeah. I see it.
Okay, watch this.
Oh, he has good closing speed. So basically what happened was, for the audio listener, it was basically a play action. The line slides right, and he has open lane straight to CJ Stroud, and he chases that down pretty quickly and gets him. So good play recognition also by him. Didn't bite on the fake. Look at that, dude. He's got some speed on him. Yeah, it is definitely going to be tough up front this week, especially because if you can't get a running game going against these guys, they're going to know they're in passing down, and they're going to be licking their chops, getting hyped up to go get after it.
So I've been critical of Jadeveon Clowney the last few years or whatever, but 6.5 sacks, Dan.
Oh, he's on this team?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even know he. Okay.
So listen to this. It's Madubuike at 9.5, Jadeveon Clowney at 6.5, and the recently signed Kyle Van Noy has 6 and 8 games. Dan.
Wow, 6 and 8 games. Oh, and I forgot about that.
He's a compa.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He was on this team. And you know what? You know he's fired up to freaking come out here and get after it. You know he is really circling this game. Yep. So that is just, I don't know. It could be very ugly.
Odafe Owe, if I mispronounce it, I apologize. 4 sacks. Patrick Queen 3.5. Kyle Hamilton 3.
Exactly. They got dogs over there, but I mean that's been a staple of this team the whole time, dude. Like physical defense, they have an eye for talent. Like they know how to get guys in here. You know, there's a reason why John Harbaugh is one of the longest tenured head coaches in the NFL. Like it's him, Belichick, Tomlin, and Carroll, and I guess Andy Reid, and I can't think of another right now of who's been with the team that
probably
long.
The longest after that is 40 Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, Shanahan, maybe, or McVay. Yeah. I mean, there's a sizable gap, I think, in years, but
Dan, this defense is really going to test this offense, and then with some of the injuries that the offense has, I mean,
exactly,
this is going to be rough because I mean, you have two of the best linebacking duos, and the Chargers offense struggled against Williams and CJ Mosley a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, here you go. You have to play Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. And then you have Kyle Hamilton in the back. He's from Notre Dame. He's a good,
especially the other thing, right? They're down Mike. They're down Palmer. And I think Guyton was hurt, but I don't know if he's going to play. But I mean,
he was limited in practice.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. And it's like it's getting very eerily similar how this game could look very similar to last year when it was the Niners and the Chargers playing. When Keenan was out, Mike was out. They had so many guys out on offense. And, you know, at one point it got ugly.
A low-scoring game that they were right in there.
The Chargers' best hope right now to try and win this game is exactly that. Getting into a low-scoring game, trying to, you know, no turnovers, controlling the clock offensively, and hopefully getting some 3 and outs. But
Well, what's going to be tough too is that they even have good corners.
yeah, that's why I'm saying
Marlon
like
Humphrey, they have
and
some
those
good-
guys are going up against wide receiver like 3, 4, 5, and whatever else. Like, because I think they're going up. Obviously, Darius Davis. We don't know if Guyton, obviously Keenan, but I mean you double Keenan or whatever, and it could be a long day. I'm trying to think of who else. The Fayoko guy. The Fayoko guy's on there
Quentin
too.
Johnston.
Quentin Johnston. Yeah, him also. But I mean, he's been essentially a non-effective the whole season. Like he still hasn't had the game. Well, I guess did he sort of step up? There was one game where he had 4 catches for 60, I think. I can't remember if that was against the Lions or
against the Lions.
But I mean, he hasn't had that game you would want from a first rounder yet. So I mean, we'll see what happens, especially for young guys. There's no way it's not difficult to have essentially the key drop he had last week going into this week, an even better opponent, at home. It's not going to be easy, dude. And hopefully he's been putting in the work and everything else so he can get that out of his mind and make it second nature. But it's not going to be easy going into this game. And like I've been saying, this whole time, if you can't establish the run game, which is already a tall task, just because they haven't done it so far unless it was Miami. If you can't establish the run game and Keenan's doubled, I think this is going to be a long night. And I think the other thing could be you got to really, check in on Herbert if he's taking a lot of pressure and he's getting hit and stuff like that. This might be one of those games where you really want to be smart, get clearing routes and stuff like that and be checked down Charlie. Just get, little dinks and dunks, 3 to 4 yards every single time. Get the ball out quick. Don't let him get hit. Be smart. And
well, they're number one. They're number 1 in sacks.
Oh, in the league? So that's that's going to be tough.
And
dude.
it's not just that they're the number 1 team in sacks. They're also number 1 in the league in most yards lost on defensive sacks. They're at 350 yards lost on sacks, and the next closest is the Chargers at 247. So they have a 100-yard lead on the Chargers when it comes to sack yards.
Yeah.
So
that's where their defense sacks them further back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Baltimore, I mean, they're middle of the pack when it comes to a little bit near the middle of rushing yards allowed, 103.7. But the Chargers running backs
they can't get started.
Yeah, they haven't really.
They can't get started. They don't give Kelly enough reps, I think, to get started. And either the lack of creativity or I don't know what it is. But
and then their defensive secondaries allowing 169.7 yards a game. That's 3rd in the NFL.
Oh yeah. One thing that I think is going to be critical this game also is not only Herbert get rid of the ball fast, but I mean if there's nothing there, you need to start throwing this into the stands or whatever, because you cannot allow yourself to take hits, dude. That is the number one thing I would be communicating to him. Do not allow yourself to take unnecessary shots. And you know what? What's the other thing? He showed it last week. Maybe this week's another game where he leads the team in rushing. Maybe he's going to keep some drives alive because they're going to want to get after it. So that's going to be some big things. Can you keep Herbert upright? And can these guys get open? I think are going to be the 2 biggest questions going into this week. And it's going to be tough, dude.
This game's going to be interesting because, I mean, obviously you're still trying to see like who the Ravens are. I mean, they blew out the Seahawks 37-7.
Yeah.
They blew out the Lions 38-6. But then they've struggled at Pittsburgh 17-10 against
divisional team, divisional rival.
Yeah. And then they struggled a little bit against the Cardinals a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, they still won 31-24. But it's going to be interesting to see how this team does on the road. But I mean, this is a tough stretch coming up for Baltimore. I mean, they come here, then they go to their bye week, and then when they come back, Rams go there. That game's still going to be tough. But then at Jaguars, at 49ers, Dolphins, and then Steelers. So that stretch is gonna tell you a lot about who this Ravens team is.
Yep.
But they've put together some nice wins. So but they're a good team. I expect a tough game when they play the Chargers. So what the last thing I want, this is Brandon Staley talking about the front the front seven of the Ravens.
Oh,
Well, they have a lot of people who can rush the passer. They've got interior pass rush, they've got outside pass rush, they have DBs and linebackers who can blitz. And so when you take just the front, they've got an outstanding front. But then their linebackers, their two linebackers are as good as anybody in pro football right now. When you have Roquan and Patrick Queen, and then they've got some DBs that can rush too. And so you factor all that in, and then you've got a group that's dangerous. They've had to lead a lot in games, which gives you a chance to rush a lot, and they're capitalizing on those opportunities.
and that capitalizing on opportunities can spell nightmare for the Chargers, because he's already battling a finger, and it's like you cannot allow this guy to get hit Sunday night, because this team will go as far as he takes them. So
I think this is a game where you kind of have to do end arounds, stuff with Darius Davis, like do a little.
They got to be smart. They just got to be smart
Yeah.
with the football. Take what the defense gives you, and again,
Quinn Johnson needs to step up in this game.
They all do. Every single
Yeah.
receiver needs to, because like I've been saying for weeks now, it can't be the Keenan Allen and Herbert show, because that's going to run out. That's not championship winning football, no matter what anyone tells me.
I know it's a different team, but Baltimore blew them out last year in Baltimore. Remember, right before their bye week.
The Chargers? They blew out
Yeah.
the Chargers?
Yeah.
Probably. They've been the Chargers since, they were at the StubHub have been giving them trouble. The Ravens blowing them out and stuff like that. So
no, I'm saying the Ravens blew out the Chargers.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Ravens have been doing that since they were at the hub, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like it's
it's always been. It's remember 4th and 29.
Oh well, yeah. Obviously, I just saw that clip recently with he who must not be named, Ray Rice over there. Yeah, but that's what it goes to, right? This defense is going to put pressure, force Herbert into mistake, force him to throw into tight windows. They're going to get after it, dude. So what can you do to combat that? Run smart screens, get these defensive players going sideways. Dinks and dunks like crazy. Stack receivers to get rub routes in and everything else. Some spacing, some levels. Do something to to your advantage. Basically, is what I'm saying. Like, again, I'm gonna say this for the 8th time, Frau, and I know it's gonna drive me crazy on Sunday when I don't see it, but Herbert needs to get the ball out of his hand as soon as humanly possible, because the longer he holds it, the longer these guys are gonna be able to get after it. And we've seen this offensive line struggle against competent defensive fronts, and that's going to be a huge problem, I think, because, like I said, it's going to be bad if he goes down, like, for real, something that he can't play through. But they need to be smart with their game plan this week, because they cannot let these defensive linemen control the game and take it over, because that's going to spell, a nightmare evening for everybody.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, because this game, I mean, the Chargers usually play teams close, but there's always that one game that kind of gets out of hand for them.
Yeah,
and it kind of feels like this one could be that game that gets out of hand just because of how tough they are. But Dan, before we let you go, or before we go, because obviously I need to get back to turkey and ham and all that stuff. So, Dan, I know Sunday, I know it was a bad time for you, but it was also a time that I think you got really fired up, and I think this play was what fired you up, Dan. There were 7:40 left. The Chargers were all down, and Herbert got fired up. I mean, it's something that, I mean, we've seen him show emotion before. He's gotten up, he's done stuff like that, but
you know what that shows more than anything, the mounting frustration that's probably in the locker room, dude.
Well, I mean, obviously we haven't.
I'm not in there. But who the hell's excited about a 4-6 team right now, dude? They're all probably frustrated. They're trying to figure it out, and that type of stuff is gonna eke out a little bit, especially when you have miscommunications like that in a close game.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we talked about that last week. You can't get with those type of teams where they're not at the level of, say, a Ravens. You can't keep it close with them, dude, because that's playing right into their hands. So With the Ravens team now, it's the flip side. You got to keep it close because this is a team that can dominate you physically and really run away with it. And that is exactly what you do not want. Do not get out physical. You know, the goal of the game is hopefully no new injuries also, because they're already getting thin as it is.
This is what Dan got reminded of.
Hey, oh my God, yeah. How long ago was this one? He has so many of them.
I don't know.
Yeah, the way he just tosses it.
Yeah.
The way he just tosses it. He would do that so many times, dude. I'm honestly surprised some of these teams haven't Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot of those. He did
But
that
so
one too
here
many
was
times.
I'm going to show you two things. One, here's Brandon Staley being asked about that moment and what he thought about it, and then we'll hear from Justin and get your thoughts on what they both had to say. Dan,
saw a little bit of fire from Justin. When he
I know that voice. Shout out.
He said he apologized to Will. What is your take on that? On a quarterback, obviously we know he's a leader out there. In that moment, is that a terrible thing? Would you not mind seeing him do that?
It's a great thing. It's just a competitor out there competing, and he and Will are tight. So there's a lot that goes out there sometimes in the game, and there's no one that cares more than Justin. So I love seeing that.
So that's what Brandon had to say. And now let's go real quick and hear what Dan's quarterback had to say about about that moment.
Yeah, I think there can be good things about it. Obviously, you know, I apologize to Will, and I never meant to put him in that position. But you know, I feel like with our offense, everyone's comfortable with each other, and we can talk to each other in a way that if something's not the way we want to, I know that anyone can come up to me and talk to me and say, hey, this is the way I want things, or this is the way it should be. And having that ability to talk with your teammates like that, I think that helps your offense, and I think it helps your team. And I know the offensive line, they're going to give me a hard time here and there, but you know, I did it for the best of the team, and you know, I'd love to have that back and be able to control that a little bit better. But you know, I think it's important to speak up, and especially when something's on your mind like that.
Yeah, that's just football, dude. It happens. It happens.
Should he have apologized?
I don't think it's a big deal. I think,
yeah.
It's just like everyone forgets, like football, right? The testosterone's going. You're beating the hell out of people. You're pissed off. Like, of course, that stuff's gonna happen. It is what it is. They just need to correct it for next time for sure. Oh my God.
Good. I can feel your anger.
Exactly.
I am defenseless. Take your weapon. Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
There you go. Jay Herbo needs to come to the dark side, dude. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, if people really thought that was bad or anything like that, they should look up the clip between Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning. You remember that? Yeah, if you could pull that up, find that. But real quick, as we're talking about that, right? This is exactly what you want to see about from Justin. Like, Justin clearly has a high standard for things, as anyone else should have if you're in the league. And of course, he's frustrated, dude. He's taking a dumb penalty off of miscommunication. That's going to frustrate anyone. But really, what I wanted to say right now, I wanted to take the time. We got a comment last week. If you ever hear us say Herbert's the problem, clearly it's sarcastic. Herbert is not the problem. You know, I've been a huge Justin Herbert defender, and I will continue to be until he does otherwise. But yeah,
I thought that comment was funny. Somebody was like, hey, you guys are talking
trash. Yeah, dude, buddy. Ask the program, roll the tape from previous episodes. Herbert's not the problem. When we say Herbert's the problem, clearly it's sarcastic. I just thought that was so funny that it's like crazy that we have to talk about this. We're not those other programs or those. Oh yeah, here we go. Roll this.
We're playing the Rams on Monday night. We got down there pretty close to the end zone. Damn it! We threw the ball 3 times in a row and incomplete and had to kick a field goal.
We came off the field and we exchanged how we thought it should get done.
And Jeff comes off and says, we need to be running the ball down there. And I just snapped. Hey, quit calling the plays, all right?
We got to run the ball.
When we pass blocks, we'll run the ball.
Can we run it down there?
We run it down. Yeah, Jeff, we will. All right, when we call pass plays, block. I was totally outmatched. Size, strength.
See, so what you saw on Sunday was a PG version of it. Don't you even worry about that. But that stuff happens, dude. That stuff happens. But there's a way, right? The thing about close teams and men when you're on these teams, right? You say those things, and then 5 minutes later, it's water under the bridge. You know what I mean? Like, no one even cares anymore. It's just in the heat of the moment. Sometimes people don't understand that it's like, oh, clearly he's pissed off. The score's tight. We should have been beating him. False start penalty. Of course, the game's not going the way we wanted. Of course, he's visibly angry. Let it go. It's because of his emotions that he's lashing out like that, right? It's not a big deal. In my opinion, it's not a big deal. That stuff's going to happen on any football team. But the difference is, right, you got to be able to control that stuff because you can't let it get out of hand, which I don't think he did. I mean, he just spiked it, said a few words, moved on. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was either. I just thought it was funny. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he showed emotion like that, and everybody's like, "Oh, what?" Like, you saw Twitter X or whatever, it blew up. People were.
You saw all the memes too. All the memes.
Yeah, people were definitely excited about that. So, and I think as he grows, you're gonna see more and more of that. I mean, remember, people hadn't really seen that fire yet from Phillip until it was that game against the Colts where he tears his ACL and he's like. Fans are like, bye-bye. And he's like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be back. Don't you worry about that. It comes with time and everything. And I'm sure Justin is going to fit right into this. But you've seen it before. He's gotten up and done the first down. He's gotten up and gotten fired up. So it isn't the first time. So, I mean, there's nothing to it. So, but before we head out, Dan keeps on texting me about this. I told him, hold on, I'm going to do it. There was a question from, can you see it or no?
No, you haven't pulled it up yet.
Oh, it says it has. Okay, my bad. There was a question. I'm trying to pull it up. It's not letting.
Oh yeah, no worries. No worries. If not, we can read it out loud. I'll grab it right now.
Okay, it didn't. The question is from Hipper Tech 95. Question for the podcast: if or when the Chargers get eliminated for playoff contention, would you want the Chargers to sit Justin Herbert the rest of the season to not risk him getting a major injury in meaningless games? Question mark. If so, what is the point? Or if so, at what point would you do that? When would you sit him? So Dan, I'll let you handle that one.
Yeah, this is a good question, by the way. Shout out to you, the listener who asked the question, right? Which obviously is a possibility the way the season's gone so far. In my opinion, I wouldn't sit him just because I think young guys or just people in general, they need the reps, right? The last thing, and especially the other thing I would say to that is that I would not want to send a message to the locker room that it's like, the season's done. It's over. We're moving on to everything else. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the whole new injury part. I don't think Justin would want to come out and sit to fully heal up. Obviously, in these games, and I've said this before on the record, in these games where they're losing by 2-3 tuds or whatever, and it's already fourth quarter, and you can tell the game's out of hand, that's when you need to pull them, in my opinion. Not complete games. That's when you need to pull them. I don't want to hear, and I've said this before, I do not want to hear, oh, well, he didn't want to come out. Well, who's the head coach? Is Justin the head coach or is he the quarterback? Sometimes as a coach, it's your job to pull players out and protect themselves when they want to continue going. We had a few dogs this year on our team get hurt, whether it was a head thing and they weren't feeling right or whatever it was, or a knee or this or that. And there were games where that got out of hand. I told him straight up, you're not going back in. It's not a what's it called? It's not a performance issue. It's just, I'm not going to risk you. The game's out of hand. There's no sense in putting in here, potentially making this injury worse. So that's the only thing I would say. I think he should play the rest of the year, even if they are eliminated, just because I think the more reps he gets, the better he's going to be. And the only thing I will say is the games where they're getting blown out and it's already, you can tell the game's out of hand, that's when you need to pull him, especially when he's taking a beating. You can't let him sit in there when the game's out of hand and he's taking a beating. You can't do that.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. I mean, I just don't think he's gonna allow himself to be yanked. Or my bad. I don't think he's gonna be allowed to be sat. Like, he's not gonna, like, if they're eliminated and it's the game against Kansas City in the last week or whatever, he's gonna want to play. He's not gonna want to sit.
Yeah.
Dan said halfway through maybe or in the fourth quarter, whatever, sit him and save him. But I mean, this coaching staff and the general manager and everybody there, and even some players most players are obviously still in it. Even if they do get eliminated, I mean, there's still jobs to be had. There's 31 other teams looking and everything. So expect them to give
They're
up
still gonna
and
play. Yeah.
Herbert to do that either. So, but again, we appreciate your questions, and whoever has questions, Dan and Daygo is very on top of it. So make sure
That's
you
right. Send it. Get in the comments.
Exactly.
And again, when we say Herbert's the issue, it's sarcasm. It's a joke. It's not because we believe it. We're making fun of everyone else who has that idiotic take.
Yeah. So obviously we're just here having fun and everything. But speaking of fun, Dan, we're now truly right before we head out. I wanted to share. You love your quarterback, don't you?
Of course I do. I love the son of Odin.
Watch this.
Oh my God.
Man, love Mr. Potatoes. That's a big guy. Bug. Fuck them. Pass me another potato.
Pass.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. That's pretty funny. He was seeing stars, dude. He got back into it. He's like, pass. Let me sling you this.
If you guys
potato.
haven't watched you guys need to get over to the YouTube version because there's a funny clip. It's Herbert at like Thanksgiving with the boys, and guys like, Justin, pass me some potatoes. And you see it's three guys there, two guys with Justin, and he goes, pass. And like Justin like jumps out of his chair, and one of the guys lunges at him like if he's gonna sack him. Justin throws him to the ground. He throws a laser with the
slings it.
So, exactly. So you guys have to check that out. But all right, Dan, real quick before we head out, we're not gonna do we'll do it real quick. Give me a player to watch for.
I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson. I think that one.
X-Factor.
I'm gonna go with the safe. X Factor is gonna be the backup, or all the other receivers not named Keenan Allen. They're gonna be the deciding factor in this game if they can get open.
My fantasy player to watch, I'll say this seems like a game where Austin Eckler scores two touchdowns. So I'll go Austin. No, you know what? I'm going to go on the other side. Gus Edwards. It seems like this is a game that a Gus Edwards will score quite a few 1 or 2 touchdowns. X Factor, I'll say the secondary. I mean,
Charger secondary.
Yeah, Charger secondary. They're going to be the X factor in this game.
Yeah.
What's your prediction?
I think the Ravens are going to take it. I'm hoping. I honestly feel like this is going to be a bad day and a long day, but I hope it's not.
I'll go Ravens 35, Chargers 24. But with that, again, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of What's Up Bolts. Thanksgiving edition. Chargers play the Ravens on Sunday night football. So make sure you guys check that out. Again, thank you guys so much for checking us out. We will have a post-game reaction to this game, and make sure you guys stay up to date on all things What's Up Bolts. Make sure you guys hit the little ding notification on YouTube so you guys get to get the episodes as soon as they drop. But again, thank you guys so much. Happy Thanksgiving from Dan and Daygo, from myself to all you. Again, we're so thankful for you guys jumping on and listening to us ramble twice a week.
Exactly.
Yeah, when we talk
send
about
your questions, comment, concerns, send them. You know I'm in them. The other thing I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna slander me, at least use something that I've actually said.
Like Barney,
not something I said sarcastically.
Or Barney Gumble, or what was that?
You never let me bring that one up. That was a legendary Hall of Fame comment. We'll do that next week. Not the post game. We'll do that next week. We'll bring that one up. This is a Hall of Fame comment. If you're gonna slander me, we'll pull that one up next week.
But again, thank you guys so much. We're thankful for you guys. Make sure you guys hopefully you guys have a great Thanksgiving, spending it with the people that you guys love. And obviously make sure you guys wear sweatpants to the dinner table. so that your pants so that button doesn't get in the way of
Yeah.
you feasting. But
If not, you do it like what the hell was his name? Joey in Full House, where he goes, well,
Oh, yeah.
that's one off the old belt loop after
Exactly.
you're done eating.
But again, thank you guys so much for checking it out. And again, Sunday's post game will be uploaded as soon as Dan and Daygo and I do it. But again, thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be a compa, tell a compa. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you guys so much.